Welcome to Apna Television once again on the second segment of Apna Hard Talk. Now, as you know that last week or yesterday we discussed issues around lease agreements between the landlords and the tenants, and I mentioned to you that today we'll be discussing about the government's decision if they do go to level 3, what the effect is going to be, which businesses are going to be allowed to be open. So if the government do decides to go to lockdown 3, level 3, what the scenario is going to be like, and then what shops is going to be allowed to be open and what shops will not be allowed to be open. Now, based on that, today I've got Mr. Dave Ananth back with me. Mr. Dave Ananth, I welcome you on Apna Television once again for segment number 2. And today we'll be discussing on the decision if the government decides to go to level 3. Thank you, Dave. Welcome you on Apna Television again.
Thank you very much, Richard. Glad to be here for the second round on business at level 3 and the difference between level 3 and level 4.
Now, Dave, from my understanding, like from my view, my point of view, I think if that government decides to go to level 3, for what I think is it's not the right idea at the moment at this stage, because firstly, I think if the public is allowed to go in, and there'll be a lot of people moving out back in public, they'll be mixed with the essential and non-essential workers. So I think the government should wait maybe a week or 2 weeks longer before they decide to go on level 3. But I don't know. What's your take on this if the government decides to go on level 3?
Richard, thank you. Hard call. Be mindful as of today. Sunday is still level 4. The cabinet will decide on Monday, the 20th of April 2020, whether that level should be lifted to a level 3. Now, I'm sure before doing that, the Prime Minister and her team would have all the data from the Ministry of Health, her advisors, and before making a decision. So please be mindful. There was some incidents yesterday that people thought the weekend was really on level 3, but no, it is still on level 4. Now, when it comes to the difference between a level 3, which is a complete lockdown, to level 3, it's still hazy. It's not very clear. The Prime Minister calls it a recovery room. I would rather call it a recovery and a confused room, because we really don't know what to deal with. Businesses are allowed to open, but from what I read online and from the social media, from the media, official media of the Ministry of Health, they cannot be any social interaction between the business and the customer, Richard.
Now, Dave, can you briefly explain, like, if we do go to level 3, just in case, what types of shops, what type of retail outlets will be allowed to be open and which ones will not be allowed to be open?
Right, let's take a typical ethnic Indian business. You can open a takeaway, your Indian takeaway selling biryani and butter chicken, if you have a contactless pickup. Now, what that means is someone needs to ring up or order online, and someone either needs to deliver to the customer or pick it up without any contact. So I guess you would either need to hire someone to deliver the food. Obviously, you got to now look at your costings. Your food will not be the normal price, because the delivery is going to cost more. I was told that some Uber companies charge 35% of the value of the food. Now, if that eats into your profits, now you may need to look at increasing them, speaking to this service provider, because petrol now has come down. So there's some discussion which needs to be done. If you don't have delivery facilities, then they need to come and pick it up. Whether that's possible, how is that going to work? we still are very, very hazy in those scenarios. Richard.
Now, Dave, as you know, that the biggest Indian outlets are Indian groceries and Indian clothing stores, especially in South Auckland. Will they be allowed to open if we go to lockdown and on level number 3?
Richard, the Indian grocery stores are allowed to open in lockdown number 4. They are operating as of now. Obviously, there's social distancing. I've been to quite a few. You write your name down. You stand 6 feet apart. There are lines outside the shop. And you go in and you exercise, practice social distancing because there's only a few people who can go into the shop. Now, when it comes to clothing, this is the tricky part. I do not think they will be allowed to operate in a level 3 environment because they will need then to go online. No one would be allowed to go in to a sari shop, talk to a customer service lady, try on the clothing. That's too much of a social contact. That's going to be difficult, if you ask me. Hair salons, barbers, those are, I think, a definite no. Manicure, pedicure facilities, services, that as well. There's too much of a human contact. So I think what you need to understand is to make sure that businesses which can have the least human contact would be allowed to operate. Now you got to think outside the box now. How is your business going to run, Richard?
No, when I mentioned grocery stores, Dave, what I actually meant was that I know there's a countdowns which are open at the moment, presently serving customers, and obviously there's a lot of large Indian grocery stores open. What I really wanted to ask you was if the small grocery shops which are in the interior or maybe not on the main roads and the dairy shops.
That's difficult for me to answer, Richard. I think from what I have read online, the business which are not sure need to contact Ministry of Business Innovation, explain their services which they provide to the community, and see whether they do come in within the parameters of level 3. But what I think be taken into account is the location of the shop, how big is the shop, and can someone can a contactless business operate within that? So yeah, it's going to be a case by case basis if they are neither here nor there.
Not even considering that the government may be going to look down level number 3, right? Now, while I've been interviewing few people on the road, I've been to a business in over the shore, and that company actually saves a lot of customers, maybe about 200-300 customers a day. And what I've seen them doing is they are putting plastic barriers on the counter, so that it's a partition between a customer and a employee, and things like that. You think that is enough, or the government should do more to safeguard the potential customers and away from the employees?
Yes, maybe a relief can be given to or a grant to install these barriers in smaller outfits. I've seen them in large supermarkets like in Countdown and Pack and Save. They obviously have this to protect the customer and the staff from any if somebody sneezes or coughs. So that's I don't know the cost, but I think that's better than nothing. It does help, definitely.
Now, once we go to level 3, and when people go to the shops, people go to liquor shops, people go to groceries, people go to Countdown, will they still need to that space, or will they be just as normal as before?
Richard, most definitely social distancing is extremely important in level 3 as well. So there is some difference between level 3 and level 2, sorry, level 4 and level 3, but the social distancing remains the same. As the Prime Minister said, we're in the recovery room, if not fully cured, so there must be social distancing. And the fact is, look, we know that social distancing doesn't always apply. I've been to shops where, the area is quite small, and there's a lot of people in the shop, or more than what should be, or people pass you within a very close range because there's a lot of items in between. So, we need to be more responsible. The business needs to be more responsible by allowing certain people only in the vicinity, in the office, in the business, and not let too many people in, and give a time period. Look, you're here. Can you leave after 5 minutes so someone else can go in? Richard.
Now, Dave, moving into the second half of this segment, I think the very important thing we must talk about and we must discuss, and the viewers would be waiting for us to talk about, is stress levels. And now, talking to different families, different members of the public, people, lots of families, they're going through stress in their family, and people are lost. They don't know what to do. So, what do you think in this scenario, what people should do and what steps they should take to ease this stress level?
All right, Richard, good question. Hey, in New Zealand, we have tremendous amount of support. Besides your professional advisors, you can talk to your accountants and lawyers and business advice. You have so many helplines. The Ministry of Health has got a depression helpline. They have alcohol and drug, they have gambling, they have financial, they have COVID-19. You've got counselors who can speak to you in Hindi, in any language, in Mandarin if you want. It's all free, provided for free. So I urge people, and these are difficult times, especially when someone's business has taken 10 to 15 years to build. And within the space of 2 or 3 months of COVID, you see everything crumbling. And then obviously you've got families to support, extended families, you've got huge mortgages, you may have higher purchase for cars and things like that. But I ask you to seek help. Seek help from professionals who are there for you. Please do not worry about language, because as I reiterated just now, you can speak in any language you wish, but you have to pick up the phone and make that call. That's the first step for anyone who needs help.
Now, Dave, you mentioned high pitches, right? There's lots of people who are out there in the public that have got high purchases, and a lot of people are stressing out on mortgages. And I feel sorry for them, and just a bad timing. No one knew that this was coming through. But nevertheless, I mean, it's here. We have to face it. What do you think the finance companies or the mortgage, like the banks, should do in able to help these people who are in need of assistance financially?
It's very important, and in my segment yesterday about commercial leases and landlords and tenants as well, this same principle applies. The finance company who's given the loans to the maybe buying a car or anything else for the matter would need to speak to the debtor, right? That's the last thing you want to do is repossess a car you can't sell anyway in this current market. So I think the finance company and the debtor of the loan should sit down together, come to some form of arrangement, maybe a holiday of some sort, a reduction of interest, some form of negotiation. I do see this ending. I know there will be light at the end of the tunnel. However, for the next few months, there has to be a lot of communication between these parties concerned. Richard.
No, the other most important question, Dave, is I don't know, you'll be able to answer me or not. Like a lot of people are struggling to pay their rates, their phone bills, their power bills, right? And there's a lot of other expenses attaching to this lockdown, which has been affected. Now, what you think they should do? Should they put all their payments, automatic payments on hold, or should they let it continue until further assistance is given by the government? What's your take on this?
Richard, I know that work and income do provide support when certain bills can't be paid, so perhaps they can be approached. You can also speak to the utility companies concerned, explaining your position. I don't think the companies who exactly know what's going on in New Zealand would be insisting. You can speak to the council if there are issues with your rates and the government. I think there's a lot of support, and I can't help emphasizing that what's really important is communication. You need to talk to the people on the other side and tell them what's going on with your particular financial situation.
Now, while we're on that topic, I just remembered that I rang up Spark last week and I told them that I normally go to a Spark shop in a mall and pay my phone bill. And I said, I can't do that, you know, and I used to pay them cash. And now what they told me is, what they had advised me is that Spark has suspended all bills until towards end of May next month, which is one complete month. So if anyone who are with Spark, if you got Spark power bills for your telephone, you can ring and check this if you want. But what I've been told by Spark is that all bills has been suspended for a month, and they will relook at it once that 1 month period is finished. Now, Dave, moving on with this program, like if the families and the people who are watching this television, the viewers, you know, of all races, of all religion, if they're struggling and they're going through hardship, and they find it difficult to deal with themselves, if they find assistance, if they want to find assistance, if they want to go somewhere, talk to someone, relieve their minds, is there any phone number you got you can give it to them so they could ring and take some advice or talk to someone and and just take, you know, just have a bit of a help which can enable them to just come over all the fears which they might be thinking is coming up?
Most definitely, Richard. The best line to call is 0800 Lifeline for counseling and support. And you speak, as I said, they are trained counselors in any languages. So I think that would probably be the first line of call, 0800 Lifeline. It's a free call for you to start at least there, and then perhaps from there they can point where you need to go after having that first counseling session. But it's really important that people who have emotional issues, mental health issues, to get support, especially now with all this going on in their family.
Now, Dave, I myself been through a bit of stress. You know, like everyone goes through stress. You know, like when you have businesses. Maybe a few years ago, no, quite a few years ago, and I was referred by a doctor to go through maybe 1 or 2 stress places to take some advice, and I was charged $180 each time I went there. You think in these circumstances, the hardship the people of New Zealand or around the world is going through, should these people be paying for that services, or it should be absolutely free from the government side?
Yeah, Richard, good question. I don't know the actual budget scenario, but I would imagine in this situation it should be free for New Zealand residents and citizens to be given these services, especially now. You know, I mean, if they've got a financial problem and the stress is created by that financial problem and they have suicidal tendencies, the last thing you need is to tell these people that you have to pay for the services. I don't think that works that way. From my understanding, it's free, but yeah, I need to check on that, Richard.
Now, going stress and distress state, and sometimes people, when they're really, really stressed out, they can't find any avenues to help themselves or help their family, help their business. Sometimes they feel suicidal. You think that is the best option? I think they should not even go near it. What is your take on this, Dave?
No, that's definitely not an option, and therefore I urge people in their families for now, if you do come across any of your family members or friends in those tendencies, seek help. Seek help by calling 0800 Lifeline and report this. This, as I said, it will come through. It's a matter of time. We will see light at the end of the tunnel.
When you say life at the end of the tunnel, from your experience and what the country is going through, the whole world around us is going through, how long you think this is going to last? Any predictions?
Yeah, I think I did mention yesterday as well, Richard, that the business impact will last for some time. The business impact obviously relates to the mental health of the particular business person, but it will improve. When the lockdown 3 comes into force, then it moves on to lockdown 2 and lockdown 1 and complete free again when business gets back to normal. So I would think towards another 3-4 months, things will start unraveling for the better. And after Christmas, things will start picking up. But at least the business will start open. People will start coming in to shops again and buying things and things like that. So things will definitely improve. This is not going to last for the next 10 years. That's for sure. If that's what people are saying. No, it will last perhaps this year and another to 2021, 2022 before it peaks again. But we need to remain focused to make sure that we are not hit again with this COVID-19.
Now, what's your say or what's your take on this? If I say anyone getting into new contracts, new agreements, getting into anything new which you have not done, from my point, I think they should not get into anything until this COVID-19 is sorted, and until your life is sorted, and until financially the whole country is well above where we were.
I don't necessarily agree with that, Richard. It depends. And sometimes on the face of calamity like this, there are other business opportunities which arise. So I think before you go into any new business, please consult your accountant, your lawyers, your mortgage broker, your financial advisors. Get help. Go online, read books, study, get people to help you and say, hey, is this a good decision? Come to a decision after you have got a good advice, because I don't also believe that you just wait and bite the period, because you don't know how long this is going to take. I think if there are new opportunities, there's no harm looking at it.
Now, Dave, we're coming in towards the end of this segment, Apna Hard Talk. What other advice can you give or tell our viewers who are watching you so they can take into account?
Lastly, and thank you, Richard, for that last question. I urge everyone listening to the show to look at your business, to look at the impact of your business, to get the good proper advice, and think outside the box how to market the new New Zealand, the new business. Definitely there'll be things changing, but do not lose hope. We will come out of this eventually, soon.
Now, Dave, as you know, that due to lockdown 4, level 4, most of the businesses around New Zealand have been closed, and because of that, there's loss of income, loss of wages, loss of sales. What can you tell us how much New Zealanders or New Zealand has lost from this retail sector in New Zealand?
Good question, Richard. I've got some statistics. I was reading it last night. Just in March alone, spending eating outside in accommodation, New Zealand plunged more than $300 million short because of COVID, and total retail meaning the retail sales fell $231 million, which is 3.9%, and that's in March alone, adjusting to seasonal effects. So this has hit the hospitality industry very hard, specifically cafes, bars, hotels, motels, and other accommodation. You don't have tourists coming anymore, and people don't go out anymore. My usual out with the family every week has been cancelled as well. So spending has dropped. International visitors has dropped to New Zealand. We had a lot of Chinese tourists, American and Canadian, and other parts of Asia. So they don't come and spend anymore. So fuel spending has gone down because you're on a lockdown. Nobody spends on cars and on fuel anymore. So that has come down to 113 million, which is 19%. Sales of clothes and shoes has come down 98 million. So this is massive. Furniture, I'm told, hardware has come down to 57 million down. And groceries has gone up. And you don't be surprised with that because everyone is cooking at home. So the groceries bill in terms of supermarket spending has gone up, but all the others have come down drastically, I must say.
Now, if we talk about income and the amount of money each country has lost, I've been reading some statistics for Fiji, for Vanuatu, Samoa, Tonga, and some places where people used to go for summer holidays, and they have had a big hit on the numbers and big hit on the income. So, what do you think the New Zealand government should do as far as New Zealand is concerned, in order to promote New Zealand, promote the retailers, promote the businesses of New Zealand to other countries and to other potential customers, clients, or visitors to New Zealand?
Right. The moment COVID-19 is over and lifted completely, then the focus of the government of the day is to attract FDIs, which is foreign direct investments into New Zealand. We have spent so much. We've spent billions of dollars in subsidies and wage subsidies and loans. Someone has got to pay for that. So we need, rather than the easy way out of increasing taxes or GST, direct and indirect taxes, including corporate tax, I would urge the government to look at getting good quality foreign direct investments to come to New Zealand, to set up base here. Now, because we are in a bubble of our own, this might be a blessing in disguise. We are safe. We are far away from the rest of the world. We've got a lot of food. We have a lot of water. So I'm sure if we get the right companies to come in and invest in New Zealand and create jobs, we will be able to be much better off.
Now, Dave, while we are on the topic, do you think now is the time, now is the right time to let foreign investors back into this country by the government?
Sorry, Richard, this is probably not the right time because we need to deal with the COVID first. We want the things to be lifted completely before we attract foreign direct investment.
Thank you, Dave. I really appreciate you coming here to Apna Television for this segment. And once again, viewers, I thank you very much for watching this segment. And I hope that every time we come on, every time Dave comes on, we'll definitely bringing something new to you. And if you feel that you need any assistance or any help, you could definitely email us at tv36@apna.co.nz, tv36@apna.co.nz, and we'll be able to assist you, or maybe we can put you in the right direction. So thanks very much for watching our Apna Heart Talk second segment, and we shall see you next week. Thank you very much.